Hey there, welcome to another episode of Mike's Expat Kitchen, where we cook German dishes with American ingredients. Today's dish is chili con carne. Not German at all, but I have a good story. So before I moved here, many years before that, as a tourist, I traveled the US with my friend Huaba, and we were really on a shoestring budget. So we would probably spend $10 a day on food, if that much. And we found out that the supermarket sold these cans of chili con carne. Hormel, I think, is the brand. And we loved it. So we ate it almost every day. And back in Germany, I found a recipe by German Michelin star cook Alfons Schubeck, who has a German interpretation of chili con carne. So that's what we're going to cook today. And I think you're going to like it. What we're going to need is 1 pound of ground beef. I used the 80% lean one from Trader Joe's here. 1 regular sized onion. 1 lemon peel. 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. 1 can with about 12 ounces of diced tomatoes. 1 can or about 12 ounces of pinto beans. 4 dried chili peppers. I bought these at a market in LA many years ago. Half a teaspoon of coriander. Half a teaspoon of oregano, 1 to 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper, depending on how spicy you want it to be, and 2 tablespoons of regular ketchup. And of course, we're going to need some salt and pepper for seasoning, and also about 1.5 teaspoons of chopped garlic. We're going to add 1 bay leaf and half a teaspoon of cumin. We'll use about a cup of chicken broth. And at last, when we're serving the chili, we're going to add about 1 tablespoon of sour cream on top. We're going to start out by peeling and chopping the onion to get that going, because it takes quite a bit for the meat to cook with the onion, and we can chop the rest of the vegetable and spices in a bit. Pick the largest and widest pot that you have and heat up some high temperature cooking oil in it. Add the chopped onion when it's about medium hot and let it cook for about a minute until it is translucent. At that point, add the ground beef by breaking it into pieces and mixing it up with the onion. Let that cook for a minute and keep stirring it to avoid the meat getting stuck at the bottom of the pot. When the meat has browned a little bit, add 2 tablespoons or 2 squirts of ketchup to the mix, and also add about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Mix everything carefully and let it cook for another minute to make sure that the meat and the tomato paste and ketchup combine, and also burn a little bit into the meat so that you get this nice tomato flavor. Now add the canned and diced tomatoes to the mix, plus the fluid that's in the can too. Probably want to do a little bit less than a can, but if you dump the entire can, it's fine too. Fill up the mix with chicken broth to the point where all the meat is covered. Don't go overboard with it. We don't want chili con carne soup. Just enough so that the fluid that we're going to lose is not going to cause us to get something that's too dry. Put the lid on and let it cook at medium temperature so that it just keeps boiling a little bit for 45 minutes. While this is simmering, let's prepare the rest of the ingredients. First off, the pinto beans. Let's open the can and drain the content. We don't want the sauce, we just want the beans. I tend to just put it in the sink with the lid open and let it drain by itself. Also give the chili peppers a quick rinse and drain them as well. Then cut off a nice long strip of lemon peel. We're going to add that as is to the mix temporarily so that it can transfer its aroma. We need about 1 big clove of garlic, but I only had 3 small ones lying around, so I'm going to use these. Chop them finely and put them into a bowl so that we have them ready later. Here's the ingredients that we're going to add to the mix after 45 minutes. The chili peppers, the bay leaf, the lemon peel, the garlic, and the cayenne pepper. Stir the mix one more time and then dump everything in. Here comes the garlic, the lemon peel, the bay leaf, the chili peppers, and now we're going to add about 1 or 2 teaspoons of cayenne pepper. The chili peppers we added earlier will already transfer their hot spiciness into the mix. So the cayenne pepper is just for additional spiciness. Also add a teaspoon of salt. Doesn't matter which kind, it's just that the meat needs some salt. Remember, we haven't added any salt so far. And we're going to check it for additional seasoning later on. Err on the side of caution here, because we can always add some more salt later. Okay, stir that up carefully and make sure that all of the ingredients are submerged in the mix so that they can transfer the aroma. Put the lid on and let that simmer for another 10 minutes on low to medium heat. Check and stir occasionally while this is going and make sure that everything is nicely submerged. After 10 minutes, we need to go on a fishing expedition and remove all of these items that we added earlier. The lemon peel, the chili peppers, and the bay leaf. You can throw them out. We don't need those anymore. Now for the last 5 remaining minutes of simmering time, we're going to add those drained pinto beans and add some more spices, because you know chili is all about the complexity of the spice. So we're going to add some more salt, a little bit of pepper, also for some more spiciness, a little bit more cayenne pepper, and for some added complexity, half a teaspoon of coriander, half a teaspoon of cumin, and half a teaspoon of oregano. Mix everything thoroughly and let that cook for another 5 minutes while keeping an eye on it so it doesn't boil anymore. Just a very quiet and slow simmer. After that time, we're almost ready to serve the chili. Let's just check one more time and take a sample and see if we have added enough salt and pepper. Usually it needs a little bit more, so add that, stir one more time, and now let's get the plates out for serving dinner. Use a ladle to put 2 or 3 scoops of the chili on a plate. You remember, don't overcrowd the plate. It's always better to ask for seconds than to have a large amount of chili to work with. Put a heaped tablespoon of sour cream on top so your guests can mix that with the chili in case it's too spicy. The sour cream makes it nice and mild. It's best served with some white toast or maybe even a baguette and beer, because chili makes thirsty, and we'll try to combat the spiciness with a few greedy sips of beer, which is of course a hopeless undertaking, but that's the idea. Good appetit. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more of these episodes of Mike's Expat Kitchen with new dishes, please subscribe to the channel.